What real feminism means in a religious, patriarchal society. Lessons from I Am Malala. Before we begin, let us remember the woman whose life inspired this reflection. Malala Yousafzai, born in 1997 in Pakistan's Swat Valley, is a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, education activist, and the youngest person ever to receive the award. At just 15, she survived an assassination attempt by the Taliban for advocating girls' education. Her memoir, I Am Malala, The Girl Who Stood Up for Education and Was Shot by the Taliban, co-written with Christina Lamb, chronicles her journey from a valley silenced by fear to a world awakened by her courage. It's not merely a story of survival, it's a manifesto of conscience. The word feminism sparks fire. For some, it's liberation. For others, rebellion. But in the pages of I Am Malala, feminism isn't a slogan or a political label. It's a lived experience, the act of saying no to silence in a world built to keep women quiet. Malala Yousafzai was not raised in rebellion. She was raised in faith. Her father, a teacher and believer, taught her that Islam commands equality, that the first word revealed in the Quran was, read. So when the Taliban tried to erase girls' education in the name of religion, Malala didn't see defiance against faith. She saw faithful resistance. Real feminism, then, is not the rejection of tradition, it's the moral courage to question unjust interpretations of it. Faith, patriarchy, and the illusion of obedience. Patriarchy hides best behind sacred words. In the Swat Valley, men declared that God wished women to stay home, unseen and unheard. But who gave them the authority to speak for God? Malala writes of her confusion. Why is it a sin for a girl to go to school, but not a sin for a man to fight with guns? This question is philosophical at its core. It challenges the logic of moral authority. If divine justice exists, how can it favor ignorance over enlightenment? If faith is truth, why must it fear a girl with a book? In patriarchal societies, obedience is often mistaken for virtue. But obedience without justice is not faith. It is fear disguised as holiness. Malala's feminism begins not in defiance of religion, in her insistence that true religion uplifts women, not buries them. The feminist within faith. Many see feminism as a Western import, but Malala's story dismantles that idea. She roots her fight in Islamic humanism, the belief that God gives intellect to both men and women equally. Education is neither Eastern nor Western. Education is human. This statement is revolutionary because it removes feminism from geography and politics and restores it to philosophy. To seek education is to honor the divine gift of reason. To deny it is to commit intellectual blasphemy. Malala's feminism does not wear the armor of ideology. It wears the veil of humility and the sword of truth. It asks, can we love our faith and still challenge the men who misinterpret it? The answer is yes. In fact, to love faith truthfully requires challenging injustice done in its name. The price of speaking. But philosophy has a cost. When Malala's voice grew too loud, violence answered. The Taliban saw her not as a girl, but as a threat to their system, because patriarchy, whether religious or secular, depends on silence. October 9, 2012. A man boards a school bus, asks, "Who is Malala?" A trigger is pulled. The message is clear. Silence her and others will fall quiet too. But the opposite happened. Her survival became a global act of defiance, a living contradiction to the idea that women must submit to fear. In that moment, Malala redefined feminism. It was not about power over men, but the refusal to surrender one's humanity to them. Feminism beyond the West. In the Western world, feminism often wears the language of politics, rights, equality, representation. In Malala's world, it wears the language of survival, literacy, dignity, voice. But these are not opposites. They are stages of the same struggle. What she fights for in Pakistan, the right to learn, is the foundation of what others fight for elsewhere, the right to lead. Malala once said, "We realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced." Her statement is not merely emotional, it's philosophical. It speaks of the dialectic between oppression and awakening. Silence becomes the womb of resistance. Real feminism is not imported, it is discovered wherever women refuse to be erased. It is not anti-religion, it is anti-domination. It is not anti-man, it is anti-dehumanization. Malala's feminism emerges from faith, not from rebellion, from the conviction that truth belongs to everyone, not just those who interpret it from pulpits. The philosophy of rebellion for good. Every act of moral progress begins as heresy. Malala's rebellion is not to destroy, but to restore, to bring faith back to its ethical center. In her defiance, she echoes philosophers like Socrates and Rumi, both punished for speaking inconvenient truths. Her bullet wound becomes a philosophical scar, proof that the human spirit cannot be subdued by fear or tradition. Feminism at its core is the courage to question power, even when power wears holy robes. It is not the rejection of men, but the reclaiming of meaning. It asks, what kind of God would bless ignorance? What kind of justice demands silence from half of humanity? In asking those questions, Malala does not just defend women's rights, she defends the dignity of God's own creation. Malala Yousafzai's story reminds us that the greatest revolutions begin in classrooms, not battlefields. That real feminism is not about destroying faith, but rescuing it from those who weaponize it. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. And perhaps one truth, that the right to think, to learn, and to speak is sacred. In a patriarchal world draped in divine justification, Malala's life whispers the most radical prayer: let women think. Themes to reflect on. 1. What does real feminism mean within the framework of religion? Rebellion or restoration? Can faith and gender equality coexist without conflict, or are they destined to collide? How does education serve as both an act of faith and an act of defiance? In what ways does silence sustain oppression, and can speech become a sacred act? Is patriarchy a cultural system, a spiritual distortion, or both? Can one challenge religious authority without losing devotion? Does forgiveness in the face of violence strengthen or weaken resistance? What is the cost of truth in societies built on obedience? And finally, in your own world, what does it mean to let women think?